Welcome to the channel. In this episode, we make the final push to get Nugget ready for our trip to 16 Creek Trail just outside of Middlesboro, Kentucky. We hopefully figure out whether or not the drive line worked because today's Monday and I still don't have it. We leave on Friday. So get the drive shaft. We'll find out, did that fix the vibration? And we'll take a look at some of the parts that I take with me on trips to keep on hand in case Nugget needs me. So stick around. So like I was saying, today is Monday. I still don't have the drive shaft, but I'm still working to get ready. The one thing I've been doing is packing up my box of parts that I carry with me on trips just in case things go wrong. What do you carry? Let's take a look here. I'll show you what I've got. If you have things you think I need to have in here, drop it in the comments for me. But these are the things that have gone wrong before and I feel could go wrong again, and you know, just some other things. So let's take a look. So yes, this is an old Makita drill box that I've had for a while, and it's stuffed pretty tight. You'll be impressed. Here are my key parts. These are what I take. I take myself a little piece of fuel hose. I take myself a little piece of copper line to make a connection if I need it between existing hose and new hose. In here I have a radiator hose, coolant hose clamp, some baling wire because, well, that does just almost anything, and 2 fuel line clamps. New set of spark plugs. Here is a voltage regulator. This is an old one, but I know it works because I took it out of Nugget. We were having little electrical issues and her charging issues, and I thought, well, maybe. And so I pulled this out, replaced it, and it didn't make any difference. So I know this is good. It was still working when I took it out. In here, I have another distributor cap. I have the points. I have all of the distributor components, a cap, rotor cap, and things to return this Scout back to a point system. This system worked all the way from Alaska to Virginia. I switched over to a Patronics, and it did make the Scout run smoother. The drive shaft gets a little wear in it, and it moves, and it doesn't get a perfectly uniform spark every time. Now I do. But if that goes belly up, I can stick that in and keep trucking. Fuel filter, new electric fuel pump. The Nugget has an electric fuel pump. It has no provision for a mechanical fuel pump. New fan belt. Here is the donut from the exhaust. Twice on the trip from Alaska, my exhaust manifold bolts loosened up, and I was always kind of afraid I would lose. That would happen again, and I would lose it. So this, you know, I was afraid I'd lose one. I wouldn't have one, so I went ahead and got one. They're not too expensive. I carry it. This, if you saw one of my early videos, that is a replacement ignition plug. Someday I'm going to have ignition problems again, and when I do, I'm putting the new plug in because right now the old one is, well, it's melted. Looks pretty bad. New coil. Actually, this is the old coil. When I switched to Patronics, I also switched to a hotter coil, so I have this coil is with that set, and I know it works. And then here are my points. Fuel filter. This is the filter that goes with that fuel pump. And that's it. That's what I carry. So if my trip was longer, another couple of things that I would probably carry are I would carry a new water pump. I know that water pump's new. I put it in before I left Alaska. New, 10,000 miles ago new, but working just fine. And so if I was taking a longer trip, I'm only going, well, maybe 3.5 hours away. I'm kind of considering trying to get to the vintage 4x4 expedition in California next year in February. And if I did that, I would carry a water pump. I'd also carry an alternator. My alternator's working just fine, and it is new as well. It was a replacement in Alaska. I'm not too worried about it for a 3-hour trip. But if I was going to cross country, I would probably carry one with me. And I think that's about it. I can't think of much more. If you can think of things that you would carry, that you think I should be carrying, stick it in the comments. I do have also, a lot of people will carry universal joints. And I would. Again, those are all new. I put them in when I left Alaska. They are greasable, and I'm pretty good about keeping them greased up, so I don't worry too much about those. Is another thing that if you don't know your vehicle all the way down to those, I would probably put a set of those in as well. Anyway, so now try to get this packed back in this box. It is pretty tight, and hopefully tomorrow they call me about the drive shaft. I was hoping they would call today. The UPS truck did bring the new tube. So the drive shaft on Nugget, I guess I didn't tell you. The fella calls and says that it has 35 thousandths of run out. How that happens, I'm not entirely sure. But he is putting me a new tube on to balance it up well. So we're gonna see if that helps the vibration. I still think there's a small chance it's pinion bearing. If you have any other ideas, let me know. But you saw in the last video, and I could probably stick it here again. The drive shaft is moving up and down slightly, and I need to fix that. I mean, it kind of drives me nuts in the car. You barely feel it, but it's enough that it bugs me. And I know it wasn't like that leaving Alaska. I never noticed it. So fingers crossed they get that done. All right, folks, out in the shop this morning. Got my drive shaft here. Going to get it in Nugget. It is 14 degrees outside. We are getting Nugget ready. We'll be leaving in the morning, headed to Kentucky. So be sure and like and subscribe so you don't miss out on that big adventure. Got word that a couple of the people have already started heading that way. We have one guy coming, Walter's coming up from Florida. So committed, but he's already on the way with his wife Deborah and their traveler, the one from the Hurricane Creek video. So we have others going to meet us there, but for now I got to get the drive shaft in so we can get this baby inspected later today, hopefully. So we're going to get this in. We're going to go for a ride. We're going to see if we can figure out, did it make a difference? Do I think it's going to completely fix it? No. Because we do have up and over with the angles on the drive shaft, which after doing a little reading, I'm told does definitely make a difference. But I'm hoping we cure 50% of the vibration. We'll see what we get. Let's get it in. Okay. They're kind of wedged in there. Will it hold? Doesn't hold, it'll hit me in the nose. Okay, I feel like okay there. Let's get 2 on here and we'll go back and put 2 on the back. And then I think I'll get the grease gun out. Okay, drive shaft installed. Brake line, let's see, zip tied here, which is pulling it down. Give me good clearance there. And on this side too. So we are ready. I'll poke a little grease into them, and then we're going to spin this thing and see what kind of movement we see. And hope it mattered. Okay. Drive shaft in, tight, nice. Tightened up a couple of the bolts on my oil pan that were loosened up a little bit. I have a little bit of seepage leak going on there, so I thought I ran around them all once. I have to take the flywheel cover off to get to the back 2 bolts, so I did that, put that back on. Changed the fuel filter. My fuel filter didn't look bad, but clearly you can see that it's darker there on the bottom. So it has some stuff in it. So that's good. Turn the key on here and get the fuel filter fill up there. Looking good. Anyway, so now let's fire it up. Now that I'll let all my heat out of the shop, I'll open the doors and we'll fire it up and we'll see if that drive shaft moves as much as it used to. Fingers crossed. So that first video that I took, the lighting wasn't very good. It's kind of hard to see, but it definitely is not bouncing around as much as it was. No doubt about it, this is better. Still a little bit there. I'm not sure. I checked the pinion. When the drive shaft was off, no movement. Maybe it's been hit at some point early in its life. I've never hit the drive shaft hard enough to bend a pinion yoke. But I believe that's probably as good as I'm ever going to get, and I am happy with it. Money well spent. So let's get this thing backed out of here and see if we can get it inspected so we can leave in the morning. Okay, I'm seeing an issue. I think that's supposed to be on the other side. Right now, it's showing 10.9. So, I don't think I'm charging. Let's see what we figure out. Okay, I'm hoping you can hear me. I stopped and had the battery tested and had the alternator tested, and the alternator was putting out nothing, no juice at all. So I ordered an alternator, not gonna be here till tomorrow morning. I went back outside and I'm putting the hood down. I thought, well, wonder if any of the wires have gotten loose, and they didn't get loose. They just weren't attached anymore. The plug was still in the back of the alternator and the wire was near it, but it only had one little piece of wire crimped in that, the way it's supposed to. So I think I know my problem. I had him put the tester back on it. I stick the wire onto the post. It's charging 13 and a half, 14, something like that. No problem. So going back home, I'll get this wired back in. And I think we'll be okay. So yes, I'm ending the video here unless something goes wrong. I shouldn't say it that way. Oh well. We'll see you guys on the road.